Oh, you're on mute, Jeff.
How was the garlic festival?
It was awesome. It really was. Four of my Crocs found homes, so I was very pleased with that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
Where was it held?
uh,
I went on the site, but I couldn't find a location for it other than Orange.
yeah, it's I don't know where to put it. It's at the end of it's in the middle of Orange, just south of downtown, off in the woods.
No,
Right
from
on the Orange New Salem line is a better way of looking at it.
hmm,
Um, do you know where the Seeds of Solidarity farm is?
no.
Oh, should check that out someday. It's a fun little farm stand that has. They're the ones who's they're a .org, and they're the ones who's helped start this Garlic and Arts 25 years ago, and they've got like 40 different varieties of garlic,
Hmm.
so you can buy them for seeds or to eat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know at one time it was near Lake Mattawa.
It is. It's up the street from Lake Mattawa. Same place.
Okay, I know where it is then. All right. We were there about 10 years ago.
Yeah, they had a huge crowd on Sunday. It was amazing. My voice is still raspy. I
Yep. Oh,
talked
that's
to
good.
talked to a lot of people, did a lot of sales, and all very positive. So,
Good.
Great. Good evening, everyone.
good
Good
evening.
evening.
Ann is not going to be here this evening. Hopefully, Steve will show up at some point. Yes,
Um,
Becky.
I just had a text from Steve. He's had an all-day workshop. He's still in Leominster. Um,
Okay.
so he doesn't think he's going to make the meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a quorum. So at I think it's 5:30. I call the meeting to order. I just finished adding some comments to the minutes. I didn't know if Jeff, if you had anything to add.
Well, I saw one of the items was Jeff was going to check in item 3.1.
Right.
What's that mean?
Oh, on the report, I had suggested that we have a specific heading, and I had talked about grading, sidewalks, paving, retaining walls, and you suggested site construction
Mm-hmm.
as the heading for 3.1 on the spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
And we agreed to that, made sense to me.
Got it. Okay.
So we put your name on it and made you own it.
I own it for life. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So this is just something that was interesting. I saw this is this morning, I think when you sent the minutes, Frank,
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of saw this flash across the screen. So then I went to my email after I finished what I was doing and I couldn't find the email. And then later this afternoon, I then went to mail and did a search and it came up. But initially it wouldn't let me in. I had, I figured out a way to get it up, but it was
It
odd.
was it was interesting because it said that you've already been in it once, but it said you were requesting to get in. So that's when I hit OK, and then you got in. So I don't know why it did that.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, because I was initially denied access. Okay. Um, so no other discussion concerning the minutes. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from.
Second,
I'll second.
It's good.
roll call, Frank,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. And I'm also supposed to state those who are attending the meeting. So
Right.
we have Frank McGinn, Jeff Quackenbush, Stephen Dalmas, and Becky Torres. Okay. So did you see that I sent that item concerning the fiscal year 25 budget request?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I guess for years, the building committee has asked for $10,000. And, I feel like we need to ask for more. I mean, right now, Becky, can you tell us how much money we have on hand, building committee?
Well, we still have 40,000 because the window guy, it was raining that day, so he
Right.
was scheduled for November. So that 6,000 is unspent.
And
And the
what do we owe
9,000
Gail?
and 9,000 we owe Gail
Okay, so
for the work
roughly
there.
15, so that takes us to 25 roughly.
But that, yeah.
Minus the sump pump.
I'm sorry?
Minus the sump pump. Did
Yeah,
you?
I haven't given you that's I think about 250 for the sump pump.
Okay.
But I assume that
It's installed.
oh great. Terrific. Okay.
I mean, are we gonna have to pay for Carl's? Did they come out yet?
Carl's I'm chasing. They had two young guys come out and do the quote, and they were going to email me. They haven't emailed me, and I've left 2 or 3 messages.
You
So
have a
I
rough
don't
idea,
know
you have a rough
if
idea how much they want?
that's the quote is what they were supposed to email.
Okay, so you
no.
don't have a rough idea. Okay.
Okay.
Would that come out of our buildings budget or the elementary schools building maintenance budget? Do they have a buildings maintenance budget? No. Well, I know they tried spending $60,000 on that $100,000 grant for cameras. So yeah, so okay, so that's
Okay, so I guess the question is, should we request more monies, and when the time comes to say defend the position, if you will, just list a lot of the items that we've found. For instance, just doing this draft with Gail. I mean, that's $9,000. I mean, we're not going to be able to do any significant projects if we have more money, but we might be able to do some of the initial legwork. I mean, I was thinking of requesting 25,000.
So I have a question. If we hire Gail or some other architect to do the design documents for the building envelope,
mhm.
does that come out of our budget or does that come out of the money we would ask the town to commit for the project?
I think it's dependent on timing.
So sounds like it's coming out of our budget
Yeah, if we
because
want,
we would have to do that first.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're going to come up a little bit short, I think.
Well, I thought their estimate was,
it's over 40,000, right?
I thought it was more like closer to 60, but
yeah.
So then,
I was surprised at because Jeff, is this more work than the roof, the asphalt roof?
I'd say it's comparable.
Okay. So we're gonna need, if we're planning to, sorry. 1 second, I'm gonna have to take this call. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, we would
so maybe we need more money.
Yeah, we would need to ask for money for that. Okay, well, she's taking that. Number 3, discuss new roof on Shutesbury Elementary School, especially gutters and their cleaning. So I had put this up for the meeting, which we canceled, and Steve Sullivan actually responded and said that the highway department is going to be investing in some ladders and that they would take on the responsibility of regularly cleaning the gutters at the school.
Okay, good.
The one thing that concerns me a little is those mesh strainers that they put in
Mm-hmm.
gutters. I'll just say, the gutter's quite deep. If we say the gutter's 6 inches deep, they stick up 3 or 4 inches. So if there was a lot of, a bunch of debris gets in there, it could actually clog the top as well. And the water would just continue to rise and spill over. So I was thinking I'd be actually willing to try and fabricate out of hardware cloth and window screening a strainer that is actually slightly taller than the depth of the gutter, so that the gutter could continue to drain until that thing got just totally clogged for the total, say, 6 inches. Does that make sense to people?
So you're saying, let me see if I know. It's not. So the strainer that is there now is not as tall as the gutter. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Heard. So all right. Then
so in my mind, the strainer should be at least as high as the gutter. Tall as the gutter.
And when you say as high as the gutter, are you talking the back of the gutter or the front of the gutter? Because the front of the gutter is lower than the back.
I'll say the overflow edge. It should be at least as high as the overflow edge.
Okay, got it. I mean, that's fine with me if you want to try to fabricate something, but I think we definitely need a strainer.
Well, there are they put strainers in there.
Oh, I know. I'm saying don't take strainers out and just leave them out.
Oh, no. No.
We have a practice of
especially with the leaves coming.
But yeah, the leaves are going to plug up the underground if we don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the pine needles.
Yeah, exactly.
My apologies. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. So back to the budget request.
So there's two different ways to approach the building committee's budgets. If you have a specific project that you would like to, to say, if we knew we had the 60,000 and that was brand new, we would put that on for next year if the timing fits. I think we're also going to have a special town meeting potentially. So if we want the full 60 and we only have 34,000 of it available, then we can, if there's a special town meeting coming up, we'll put in for the $51,000 difference now, and then at annual town meeting, after we get the estimate of cost, then we'll put in for the full funding for the work for that project.
Well, we actually, so you said we have 40 roughly. We need to allow for the windows and the gale, which is roughly 15. So we have 25 roughly.
Right.
We have under 25. So we would need 35 to get to 60, but we're going to have other things. So we need.
Right. So the project, I think we should leave the balance that's in the building repair line and ask for the 51,000 from town meeting.
Is that what the gale estimate is?
I believe so. I'll verify it. But it's rough ballpark definitely is.
And right. When is this town meeting?
I think it'll probably end up being early part of December.
Okay, well, my point is
we need it sooner.
Gail's if we assume Gail's total fee was like 60, they're not going to need all of it by the town meeting. So we would just need to ask at the town meeting for the Gail fee that covers the construction drawings. Right? Okay. And then we could ask for the balance when we have the normal town meeting. Basically, I'm timing the money. That's all.
Mm-hmm. And are we still waiting for Greenfield, people, the associates in Greenfield to put their 2 cents in? Didn't you have someone up there?
Yeah, Jeff did. Okay. Remember you talked to an architect in Greenfield, said they wouldn't have time until the fall?
Yeah, but I wanted to wait till we got this report first.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you'll touch base with them. Well,
Yeah, I
then the
think
second question is,
once we figure out a scope of work, yeah.
Right.
so let's say at this meeting in December, let's say we request the 51,000 for this whole report, and we get that, and then we get the report, and then we need the money for the school project. And if we wait till town meeting in June, are we going to be able to then get be able to put this out to bid and get the work done? I mean, I assume we want to get the work done during the summer when school's out. Am I correct, Becky?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, Stephen. We should. Yeah, my theory was I kept remembering the old days when town meeting was like in March or April. Okay, so you're right.
So,
We
Try
need more
this year.
money.
We're actually going to do an indoor town meeting, I believe.
Next. Oh,
So
good.
it could very well be on the last Saturday of April.
Okay.
But I'm looking, I have another idea. Let me back. I just need to find Fund 30. So we came in under budget on
the roof?
the roof, and I believe the accountant will tell me that we can use the balance of those funds on this engineering, because it's very closely related. I'm not positive, but if she allows that, then we don't have to worry about going to a special town meeting. You can just keep going, basically saying the asphalt roof project was broken into two pieces. One is the exterior and one is the roof.
How much do we have left over?
$200.
I think it's like 130.
Okay.
1,000?
Yeah.
No, I remember that. I remember we asked for X amount, we got X amount, and then the bid came in really low. We were worried about the really low bid, but then they finished it with a few extras and it all worked out.
Because originally I was hopeful we could do all the remaining work with that money. But then
Okay. No.
then the engineering was half the money left. So
Right. So it doesn't sound like we need to ask for any money at this upcoming meeting if we can use what's left over.
not for this project, right?
Right. Yeah.
But
That's
we
fine.
will then we'll see if this 25,000 balance for repairs is sufficient for whatever is, all the other things you're gonna be involved with this year. And if it's not, then we're gonna have to make a request for more funds.
So what do we think we're going to be involved with this year? Since we have
other than the envelope.
Well, item 4 is about leakage that came into the library during that heavy rain. And if you know the library, there's a window wall, three large panels. One is a sliding panel, two fixed panels, and the base of the fixed panels, that's rotting, these window panels. And that
the existing library?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, when we had that, not this past Friday, but the previous big rain, the library got water.
Okay.
At the elementary school.
At the elementary school. And we're not.
And this goes back to Becky. This is the opposite wall of the window we replaced last year.
Right.
3 years ago, whenever we did that. And it
Like
was, yes. And we should have, and it was, that one was, on its way out. We should have replaced them at the same time.
Yeah, that would have been really slick. That's what the finance director wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, if two windows in town hall are costing us 6,000 or a little bit more, that window wall, if you will, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think the identical project at the other opposite end, I believe cost 16,000.
I was going to say 16,000, what I remember.
16,000 pre
Install-
inflation, right?
Pre-inflation and yes.
It was
So
during COVID, so
was,
And we're
yeah,
probably looking at 25 to 30.
well, we should actually, can you find that bill,
no,
Becky?
not the way I get bids. I hope not.
Yeah. You're,
I'm on a winning streak with bids, so
you are doing very well. You can find that old bill on that project, can't you?
yep.
So then we can source, we can at least do our legwork before we ask for any
we
more
can ask
money.
them to rebid.
Yeah, ask them to rebid and then say we need to do the other one. Is it going to be the same price? Ha ha ha! Wink, wink, wink. And then you can get your strum on tactics on. Yeah.
Well, if we assume it's going to be 25,000, then that wipes out everything we got.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's ask for 25,000 more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's what we will change from asking for 10,000 to asking for 25,000.
What was the bid on the salt shed? What was our bid on the salt shed that we showed?
Wasn't that like 22,000?
Right.
Does that sound right, Jeff?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I'm just trying to think, we got to keep that in mind too, because that's.
Well, I will tell you.
Yeah, Stephen got volunteers to do some work on that.
Okay.
Did some patching. I went back after the patching was done and raked the salt smooth. And then after last Friday's rain, I went and checked, and there are only a couple tiny little spots, where it had dripped.
Okay.
But interesting, in the adjacent bay, which has a newer metal roof on it, that has a couple little drips. So they're probably equal now in terms of quote, how much, but it's pretty, but I think, I could go, I mean, I went up on the roof after the volunteer had been there to see how that looked, especially where the light panels were. And so, I mean, I could easily go up there. I bought a number of tubes of roof cement to reseal nail heads, and there's some left. So, I mean, I have them, and I could go up there and try and find those other spots. But that, I think, I mean, that's something we could certainly point out when asking for the 25,000. But I think that could be put off for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, finally went up on town hall roof. And there's nothing really significant to report on the roof itself, other than that the shingles on the addition are, I'm pretty sure, the age of the addition and not the age of the.
No, they really?
Yeah, because they have a different color character, and they show more wear. And logically, they wouldn't have needed to be replaced. The area around the elevator.
Ago.
Pardon?
The addition was over 20 years ago.
Yeah, but that's a 30 to 40-year shingle.
But that's where we were having a lot of leaking.
Well, the area adjacent to the elevator shaft, that looks like that's been changed.
Yeah, okay. Because we had
not a large roof
elevator, and we had an abundance of flies from the water.
Right.
So do we still have roof work to do near that elevator shaft?
I think it was repaired sufficiently, but I'll have to check. The elevator repair guys are coming. I'll try to get them to let me look up into that corner and see if it's leaking again or not.
Becky, when you make that appointment with them, please let me know, because I'd like to be there to look as well. Okay. And if anybody else wants to.
Yeah, and take pictures.
I will take pictures there. Yeah, I should have the schedule in advance.
So while we're talking about other projects, so last Friday during that heavy rain, I got a call from Marianne at the Spear Library, and there was a active leak dripping right onto anybody that came in and stood in front of the circulation desk. So I went up in the attic and actually took one of those containers that the books comes in. Marianne said it was okay because they're nice, large, and got that under the leak. And it's definitely leaking. There's also a little bit of leakage on the ridge, on the downhill side of the chimney and around the chimney. Those are pretty minor. But I looked at the roof from the ground, the slate roof, and kind of guesstimated the area, and there's nothing obvious. So there's something odd about what's going on up there, but it's not the roof that needs to be replaced. There needs to be a repair. But
You think it's more flashing?
no, I don't think. Well, on the ridge, I'm not sure.
Okay.
They've got a metal cap over that, so I don't know if it just needs to be sealed somewhere. And the same, the chimney was rebuilt when they replaced the front section of the roof, and the flashing, looks good from the ground. So I'm not sure about that, but the slate itself, that's probably more in my mind, the head scratcher as to what's wrong.
And has this leaked before?
Yes.
Probably there was a bucket up there. I'd have to look and see if I noted that in the original report, but there was a bucket up there which had water in it. And Marianne said that, there have been times where she's come into the library after a rain and there's a floor mat right there. And she thought it looked a little wet, and maybe it was, but there was no evidence that she could see. So, and the sheathing is stained enough in that area that it would suggest this has been going on for some time. So that's another, that's definitely an immediate repair.
How do you think we should proceed with that one?
Well, she asked me, someone has done some slate repairs on that roof.
Right.
I could see because
the building committee had a project where they came in and identified, like 50 slates on the whole building, and then they came in and replaced them, all of them. We made sure to have the color match, and then the slate roofer came in and replaced a number of them. And I guess it's the north side, Steve, that they replaced the whole roof, and the south side they only, or is it backwards?
It's backwards. The south side, faces Colleyville Road.
Right.
That's the side that's been replaced. The north side, because of the lack of sun, pretty much, that side should last a very, very long time, even though it's old. But that's where the leak is. The leak is on the north side. But Marianne said that she had the name of a roofer, and she wanted to know if she should call him. But I assume that the repair is the responsibility of the town. Am I correct?
Yeah, but I've worked with Marianne to just,
Just do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
if we have the building committee involved, that's awesome. But, we had gotten to a point before that we had to get things done.
Right.
And this is a roofer that knows how to deal with slate, right?
I'm hopeful it's the same one we used before. I'll have to check with her. Did she say?
Given the way the repairs were made that I saw, that person knows how to deal with slate.
Yeah, no, he's out of close to. He had a storefront in Northampton, but I think he's from Williamsburg, but it's very good.
Okay.
I'll track down his name and make sure that's who Marianne is talking about.
It would be nice if one of us or all of us were also there when we did the inspection, just to have future knowledge. We'll write it down in all the stuff that we've done with our spreadsheets and all.
Mhm.
So Frank, does that mean that you want to set a meeting to go look at it? I wasn't
Yeah,
sure how that.
yeah. I like to be there. I just like, yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you want to go and look now, or you want to
No,
go when the
wait,
roofer's there?
when the roofer's there, just to get the full opinion.
Yeah.
I trust your book bucket worked very well.
Yeah, it stopped dripping into the buckets that she had, well, trash cans that she had as you come in the door. Yeah.
Well, she may need to put them out again this Saturday.
No,
Yeah.
the bucket's still up. The book drop or the book container is still up there.
Does it need to be emptied?
Um, the rain was slowing down when I put it up there, but it's probably at least 12 inch. It would hold a lot of rain.
But you want to be able to get it down without spilling it everywhere too.
Well, I would take something smaller up,
Oh, okay.
dip it out to bring it down.
Yeah, siphon a hose or something. Yeah.
The other bucket, was like a joint compound bucket that had probably 3 or 4 inches water in it.
And who's the I in your last statement?
Are you talking?
Me?
Yeah. Who's going to go up there and empty that?
Oh, I thought we'd vote for Stephen again.
Is it Stephen or is this
Oh, yeah.
Mary Ann?
No.
I can go up there and I can hand the buckets to you.
Yeah.
She's never been in the attic, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Marianne needs to go up in the attic. It's bad enough she's got to go across the street for a bathroom.
And then sometimes I lock her out. It's really awful.
You're out of the will.
She's learned how to use the front door buzzer at least.
Okay, just quick. So I'm going to request 25,000 for our fiscal year 25
Okay.
number. Okay.
And just so you're prepared
Yep.
Bob's gonna ask.
Oh yeah. I'll have my
we can
list.
pad it.
I'll have a list. I'll have it all prepped out. Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to town hall. There's enough projects there to use an additional 25 on the 25 we're doing. So
And this is although contingent on Becky confirming that we can use the leftover money.
Yeah.
I think we might have a good shot.
So then if we can use the leftover money,
yes.
If we can use the leftover money, then that would be the 51,000 for the rest of the Gale, assuming the Gale does the report, minus or subtracted from the 130, and then that remaining could go towards the repairs, replacements, and painting. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
What's left over would stay for the school project. Okay. All right. So then the next is the Gale Associates report. Folks have a chance to take a look at that?
Yes.
you didn't get a heart attack, Becky. You're still here when you looked at all those numbers.
Oh, I've had 6 heart attacks this week. It doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say I really thought your email today was great, Becky.
That was okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we got we're gonna be able to draw the lake down a little bit. I'm terrified it's not gonna be enough. But we can only
what drove the 2-inch number?
It's Miriam's dictated that number. Well, it's 2 inches a day, so it's a little confusing. But we can only draw down 2 inches on the spillway, on -2 total. Yesterday we were at 4.5 inches on the spillway, but it's been dropping by itself. It's just, at least if we're down -2 when the storm hits, I think last time we were closer to 2, +2 or 3. So
when the storm hit.
when the storm hit,
And these numbers are what? The water elevation height above the
Yes.
spillway?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But what causes confusion too is a spillway is different heights at one end than the other end. So the 2.5 inches is in the middle, and it's only an inch at the other end. So the other end is 1.5 inches lower than it is in the middle. So
Okay.
The house end or
the
dead
dam house end is
is
high.
an inch and a half lower.
No, the end towards the bank of the.
Road. Okay, towards the road. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Good news is that the pit is looking like it's ready for construction. If we can just keep it in that shape, and now we've had to move the time when the cranes can come back. They can't come back. They were going to charge us double to come in on Monday and Tuesday, so we've scheduled them for Thursday and Friday, which is a week away. So we're losing 3 or 4 days, but we have no options. But at least whatever happens over the weekend, we'll have time to subside.
Okay.
Sorry, Stephen.
We'll keep our fingers crossed, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
back to the report.
thoughts about the Gale report, the draft.
I'm leaning towards, but I would like to go maybe at least Stephen, you and I, or maybe Frank, you, Stephen, and I maybe meet out there and look at the building and look at the report again.
Mm-hmm. I
But
agree.
I'm kind of leaning towards base bid option 1, siding and trim repairs. I guess in my mind, I don't see a reason to rip all the siding off the building.
I totally agree.
But what I don't I'm not sure about the fascia options. Is that amount sitting inside the 241,500, or is that plus?
I think that's plus.
It says additional, so yeah.
That's what I think so too. So
if we go with 1 and 1, we're looking at somewhere 300,000.
305.
yeah.
7.
And as far as the cladding options for what I'm going to call the pink, there's no difference in price between the PVC and the fiber cement.
No.
But I would like to do a little bit of research on problems with painting PVC versus problems painting fiber cement, and which one lasts longer. And I think we need to do a little bit more research. That's all. But I don't think it's worth the aluminum cladding.
No. Well, here are a couple thoughts I have. So going through that, under item 1, they talk about the wood clapboard, and they don't identify a species, but I'm guessing that might be cedar. Could be wrong, but given the dimension, what I used to see in the Maryland area, that would be very typical cedar. But they talk about the siding as having, in the summary, the siding have a 20 to 30-year life. I totally disagree. I mean, if you keep, siding material stained or painted, 20 to 30 years is absurd. I mean, so in my opinion, we don't need to re-side the building. They also mention in number 8, they say the windows are nearing the end of their useful life. Becky, I thought the windows have been replaced since the renovation in '94. Is that correct?
Windows were replaced in 2011, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where some of their information or their thoughts come from? I find it a little disturbing, personally. But anyway, then, going to the cost, I agree with you, Jeff, that base bid one, which is doing all the repairs, but you notice they don't mention in base bid one that the trim is going to be PVC, which, definitely on that south wall where there's all that rot,
Right. Yeah.
that's what we feel would be the most prudent thing to do. So I think if we add, PVC trim to where trim is being replaced, that may add to the cost. But when I look at their photos and what they talk about, quote, deterioration, a lot of times that's paint breakdown and some surface cracking. And I don't see that as being a reason to replace a piece of trim in most cases. So, we may be talking about replacing a lot less than they're talking about in their base bid. And then going to the fascia, my feeling is we have put painted PVC up on the upper section of the fascia. And, PVC, my experience in doing home inspections is PVC compared to wood is pretty dimensionally stable. And I think that a paint job, if the PVC is clean, we'll just say properly prepared, and the paint is applied properly, I bet you get 10 to 15 years or more out of the paint on that material. And given we already have PVC, which we're going to have to paint again at some point, it seems to make most sense to me on the fascia area below to stay with the PVC. If we go with something else, then, we're starting, it's like one might have a different maintenance schedule than the other, a different life. I think the PVC will minimally last the length, if not much longer, than the cement board. And the pre-finished aluminum, if we were starting from scratch, maybe that would be a consideration. But if we put that up, we've still got the PVC that's above it that we have to paint.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just sort of imagine, so you go for a paint job, well, now you change the paint color. So then you paint over this expensive pre-finished metal.
I'm agree. I'd stick with the PVC on where all the red is just to keep it in line with everything.
So are you talking like PVC lap siding, or are you talking PVC panels, or
sheet? I think you can get the PVC, the solid dimensional, in sheet, and then you rip, thinner, and then you just rip it to the length, the height, I guess, that you need. So it just has vertical seams.
okay?
And you can slip a flashing strip behind that, and you just butt it.
So Becky, that's going to change the appearance of the building a lot. Is that going to concern anybody?
You're muted.
I just had a lot of radio noise, so I could not. I'm sorry. What was the question? There's Steve.
So what Stephen is talking about is flat panels, in a sense, on the pink part of the building.
The face.
Yeah. As opposed to lap siding. So that's a very different look. With your experience of the town, is that a no-no?
So it'll look more modern.
I wouldn't go.
You'll take the clabbing side out of it, make it just flat all the way across the top.
Well, there'd be some verticals,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say it would look more modern. It'll look different.
I think with the clapboard siding being the predominant material that you see, I think that's if you change that to being flat, if you change, not that we're talking about it, but if you change the siding to being something flat, that would really change the look of the building and it might look more contemporary. Um, where the fascia is, it'll be smooth instead of having those bevels that you currently have. Personally, I think that I think it'll just look a little cleaner visually. And I don't think it'll really look modern. I mean, one argument is by having a solid piece of material and eliminating horizontal joints. Well, first off, that would be harder to do with thin, solid dimensional plastic to have some kind of horizontal line that you'd see. So that would have an effect. And it's a tall fascia, but fascias typically are just one board. And given that it's thinner, it will sit back from our 6-inch piece, and then our 12-inch piece behind the gutter. It sits back a little from that, so that creates one line that will be there. We could at some point go out there and could just take a piece of something thin that we could paint in
piece of
color,
mason,
hold
piece of
it up
masonry.
there so you could kind of get a sense.
So the panels, and I apologize if are we replacing all the clapboards with these
No,
panels?
we're not replacing any clapboard.
Right. I'm not.
I was talking the fascia. Do you know what I mean? But when I say fascia,
Oh, okay. Now I see it.
the
Yeah.
fascia is just being covered. It's not going to be taken off. We're just covering it with a thin, solid dimensional plastic piece to eliminate sort of all the issues with the current fascia.
Yeah, I think that, if you're not removing the body of the clapboards, I think it'll be whatever else in the trim that you make it look clean and it's not rotting. I think everybody will be
happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we could have, go out and take a look and show Jackie ahead, I think that would be very valuable. Just to show her what the material is going to look like.
Okay.
And just so you know, Susie reported on the finance committee. She's the liaison to the school.
Right.
And the school is extremely happy with the roof project. They found that the company, the workers were workhorses. They stuck to business and they were good to have around, and they were just thrilled with the outcome.
All right. We can all pat ourselves on the back.
Yes.
And we were under budget.
And under budget. Boom.
Yep. So do you guys want to meet out there sometime and review?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Is there any way that do you have a bigger printer that can print more than 8.5 by 11?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I think we can go. There used
Go
to
to
be
the copy, but
downtown that we used to go to. If we
Well,
need.
it's gonna be nice to get these two sheets that have the building elevations big enough so you could actually read the damn things.
So are they out of our book?
Huh?
These elevations are from our book. No, Gail.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I wanted to be able to look at what they have said here.
Yeah,
Well,
when you blow this up, it doesn't
it
You
gets
lose.
fuzzy.
it
It's
gets
all.
fuzzy on what it is. Yeah, so we'd have to take their the WP12 and look at WT12. But if we had elevations that they took from these elevations were from our plans, and we had a
We
bigger
have.
set,
Yeah, we have a bigger set. So I'll go through and see if I can print out.
because then we could just mark it up with marker once we had a big set. Would that help, Jeff? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I was hoping to do is get their drawing bigger so that we could actually a little bit better read
Yeah.
what they're saying here
Okay.
when we're out there looking around.
I'll go to a copy shop and see how big we can get it to look.
Well, I'm
It's only
wondering
two page.
if we
Or
can
else we
contact
could.
Gail and they can send us an electronic file,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it wasn't, they didn't, what is, this isn't an electronic file?
PDF.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to call Gail or?
Yeah, an A201 and A202. We're looking for large printed copies, correct? Those are the 2 pages of the envelopes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how we do that. Can they send us some kind of a file and then you can put it
Yeah,
on a stick?
yeah. If they do that, if they send you a file, I have plenty of sticks and I can get it to a copying machine.
So Becky, can they just send us straight to Frank?
Yeah, they can do that too.
Yeah, I'll just include him in the email and ask him to send it to Frank, or else
Yeah,
the alternative might be that they'll just pop some in the mail to us.
Either one.
either one.
How large do you want them? 18 by 11 or bigger?
Let's go bigger. 24,
Yeah,
24 by 36 is a standard size for those guys.
Okay.
They can fold them. They can
yeah,
fold them or tube them, whatever they want.
yeah. Whatever's cheapest.
And we'd probably want at least a couple copies.
I was going to ask for 6.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Or and if they send the file, they'll go to Frank and he'll get.
Yep, I'll get the copies done.
And then we'll bring the receipt and I can reimburse you.
Yep, and then can you share the screen real quick? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Do you want me to you want the screen, right, Frank?
Yeah, I just want to show what we're looking at here. So when you talk to, okay, boom. So if you look at what I just shared,
Yeah.
that's so blurry too. And when that should blow up. The background, that's about as high as, that's probably what it's going to be like. So they should be able to do that. That's at 100% mega, as big as I can get it on this screen.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
couldn't pan left or right either.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay. I'll email him now.
yeah. So. Okay.
Okay.
So once we find out how we can get, when we can get these drawings, then let's set a date to maybe meet out there at the site.
Right.
Sounds good.
And Stephen, as far as you know, we're still on this Friday for the library.
I haven't heard anything otherwise.
Okay. All right.
Frank, couple questions or requests.
Yeah.
On the spreadsheet, can you add that 3.1 site construction heading to the reports?
Oh yeah, I just did it on the town hall. I'll add it to the others. Yep.
And then for the highway department and the fire department, can you add maybe after doors, vehicle doors, so that they can be identified separately?
Okay. Garage doors. Yep.
Yeah, however you want to put it.
Yep.
And then you're going to continue to work on figuring out the photos.
Yep.
Okay. And Becky, question, were you able to, I know you've been probably more than busy recently. Were you able to touch base with Jamrog about the boiler?
I sent you, and I was preparing to do that today, and I couldn't open up your email. Can you send that pages document a different way?
I can try. I'm not sure.
Or
Send it
even
to me. Send
print
it
it
to
out
me.
or drop it off?
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Frank? Send it to you?
Or send it all to me, and I can sometimes convert it
Okay.
for all, and I'll look at converting it to so Becky can send it as a PDF or something, whatever it's coming over as.
It's a pages file. They're in
Yeah.
pages.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I'll take care of that.
So I'll send you all three of there are three of them.
Yep. And then
Yes.
I'll convert them and then get them to you, Becky, tomorrow or the next day.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Becky, I have a question.
Yep.
I had PVE here working on my mini splits and at my house.
Yep.
And telling me that they had to go up and change the insulation and the piping on the mini splits at the town hall because of the problem with the foam insulation that's on those pipes.
Yeah.
Yep. They
Because
haven't done it yet, though.
Huh?
They haven't done it yet.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Because they just did it here at my place, my house. Um,
How much
Is
did
is the town going to get a bill for that?
no.
they?
How much did they, how much was it?
Yeah.
$300.
Okay.
But it was only to do like just from my outdoor heads to the face of the building.
Yeah.
It's mostly the labor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
materials. But do we have a lot of those types of installations
Two
in
so
our
far.
different buildings that we have that problem? Are we going to have this problem?
I don't think we had the problem at the library. They got a cover on theirs pretty quickly. And we didn't get the others covered. The highway department might have an issue. I have to go look.
What do
I
you
know
mean
we have
covered?
an issue here at town hall, but the other, I think the other issue is they told us that the copper pipes are rotting out too.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's the issue is that white cover that's on there is breaking down, moisture's getting in and then deteriorates the insulation and then causes a chemical reaction with the piping and turns it purple. So you then could lose all your freon.
right.
So it's fortunately for me, ours is only about 3 years old, so they didn't think there was any damage to the piping, but they replaced the insulation wherever it was exposed to water. So it's not the cover, it's the piping that could be disintegrating.
Right. And that's what they told us was the issue with ours at the police and in the finance office.
Yeah.
And that they sent me a quote for $3,600.
Okay. But don't we have the same issue over town hall records in that vault?
Is that that's a newer unit?
That was a Jamrog project.
Yeah, so was mine.
So the situation here, Jeff, is PVE bought out Whittier,
Right.
and Whittier did town hall and the library. Jamrog did the fire station, highway, and the telecommunications hut.
Okay. So of all the ones that Jamrod did, do we have a potential problem that we got to deal with?
Yeah, I think we have a problem with all of them.
So more money. Okay.
And we had a bunch of work with that power outage back in January. We got some insurance money and had a bunch of work done, but not all the mini splits are back up and running 100%, despite all the insurance work. So that's another thing I have to go through unit by unit with Jamrog about. And PBE, and then so I think it sounds like from what you're saying, Jeff, if we can get the foam, well, if we're already at a place where the piping is rotting out,
then they have to replace the piping from the outdoor unit all the way up to the unit in the building.
and that's why it's so much money.
Yeah.
And
So we should go around and
for them.
Yeah, but we should go around and also personally assess every single one and take pictures and find out the date of the exact date of the install, and then go back to the manufacturer.
Well, there's a lawsuit they were saying between the piping companies and the insulation companies, and
Yeah,
nobody's getting any kind of relief.
Yeah.
It also sounds like we should go and just take off the insulation.
No. Well, no, I don't think you want to do that.
Why not?
You lose the heat.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff, when they installed new insulation, was it the same type or did they put something new?
Totally different.
And it's supposed to work. New type.
That's the theory.
Okay. How old are yours again?
Yeah, probably 4 years, 5 years.
Ours are younger than that. I mean, about the same. It was during COVID. I think it was 2020, when library, town hall, library and town hall, I think was 2020. And then highway and fire were probably more like 6 or 8 years ago.
So, yeah, mine
Jeff,
were
what color did you say the copper turns? Purple?
Purple.
This is on the exterior, obviously.
Yeah, but you have to.
And then, so it's breaking, so it breaks down the copper and then you got a refrigerant leak.
Exactly.
Well, the town hall units, Becky, you remember how exposed some of that copper is. We could look at that because I don't remember the color character of the pipe, but we could look at that. If it's not purple, it would seem to suggest that you don't replace anything but the insulation.
Yeah, and I should get them out here to do that.
Yeah, that's what they came out to mine to, in a sense, do an inspection. They cut open some of the insulation, said it's not purple. Our recommendation is let's just replace the insulation. You know, a warning that, it could in the future develop leaks. And if that's the case, then they got to replace all the piping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they diagnosed the pipes as going on the police department.
That's what he told me. He said they cut it open and it's purple, Barney purple.
Yeah, so that one's, if we want that to make it through the winter, we probably need to replace it.
Yeah, it was the technician who did your town hall was the guy who was here.
Okay.
He did mine. He was telling me it's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was more concerned about what other installations do we have we don't know about.
Yeah, we've got them all over the place. And the school has 3 units as well. And yeah, and the units that are in the um where the courtyard that they are used in the library and the IT office, and they were installed they were not installed properly in the beginning, and I had nothing to do with that project. The finance director handled it, and I don't know if they ever got it fixed or not. The complaint was it was too high up, so they couldn't change the filters.
But I don't think there was a filter on those outside units. A compressor condenser, an outside unit doesn't typically have a filter. The filters are on the inside units.
Yeah, correct. Right.
Now, you could
Being up high
argue that
shouldn't be a
the
problem.
inside units are too high up, but the ones that are mounted up high are always high. So I'm not.
So hopefully it's not as bad as they were saying. We'll have to look at those. When we get the town hall and all the town ones, then we can look at the school.
Yeah. Because I was amazed. I had PVE clean my units this spring.
I
When I
did
went to
too.
look at the units 2 weeks ago, the insulation was pretty much gone. It had deteriorated from looking fine to totally destroyed in a matter of months.
Wow.
And that extra rain we had this year probably helped.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Because last summer we didn't have any, so we just.
So
Jeff, do you have a little roof over yours, the outdoor unit?
no.
All right, so that sounds like a big, expensive project, but a critical one because we have to have that backup.
Yep.
And it's pretty essential for the fire and highway, because it's the only way they get direct heat in the office areas without turning. There didn't used to be any thermostats at the fire department. You just turn on this huge, gigantic boiler that took up a whole room. And they didn't even have a separate thermostat for the bays compared to the office spaces. It was not a good system, but much improved today. Stephen, do we have much else?
Well, we could just do number 6. That's discuss inspection spreadsheets regarding documenting existing materials throughout the buildings. So this is really just a question for everybody. Maybe they could look at the report that in its current state for town hall. I realized going through there that I think that I need to be very specific about what exists, because that'll, also provide information. So for instance, I'd have to look at the report, but I think there are 8 thermostats programmable. I've listed where each one is. And like the electrical panels, there's a main panel, there are numerous sub panels. I've identified all those locations. And then in comments, I've made comments about different things. And it's really a question which, I think the answer to is I should be, as careful to document as much as I can. Not for instance, a town hall. I mean, the windows, they're wood windows. The ones on the, and part of this goes back to Jeff's question. I think when I said that the windows were primarily wood, and the Anderson windows, the sash are wood with a factory paint, but the frames and sills are covered with vinyl. That's how they're constructed. And then I think it's Eagle brand, it's in the report, are the windows in the addition, and they're wood windows, but they're aluminum clad with aluminum frames and sills on the exterior. So I'm just trying to, put as much information in there and not just say windows and then say identify issues. And I think, and Becky has often helped in knowing, without my having to do any research, how old something is as far as when it was installed. But I'm trying to, put ages in there as well.
I think that's good.
Well, you're going to expand your descriptions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you read through, especially if you go to like the heating system, well, I guess below where we have thermostats. I mean, there's a lot written about thermostats.
Okay.
But I still need to go once Jamrog takes care of the boiler. Becky asked me about turning it on, and I was up there, I guess last week when it was a little cool, and that one mini split in the assessor's office wasn't responding, but then we got it to respond. Is that still working, Becky?
It is, thank goodness.
Good.
Because Ellen was very cold. She was not happy.
But one of my concerns with the boiler is the water feed to the boiler is turned off, and normally that's left on, and the boiler pressure gauge is showing no pressure. So when I was there with Becky, I turned the water feed on briefly, and I could hear water running and running, but I don't know, is the boiler just need to be filled? Or is there water mysteriously going somewhere that it shouldn't be? So that's why I want Jamrock to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I had learned, and maybe I had already mentioned this, is currently the boiler will maintain boiler temperature year round. So, in the spring, summer, and fall, you're wasting a lot of oil and money. And it's easy to rewire it so that it only responds to the call for heat.
Does it have anything to do with heating hot water?
No.
Okay.
There's a separate heat pump water heater that's in the utility room.
Is it a electronically based firing system?
I have no idea.
I just know that my husband had a tenant who turned all the pilots off once in the heating system because he wanted to save that little gas, and everything rusted out.
Well, this is a oil-fired boiler, so there's no pilot.
Right, I know that. So, in other words, yeah, I'd agree with it. Yeah, we have to find a way to turn it down, but see if there's a maintenance issue. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have. It should be only on when on demand. I agree.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Next time, if we get through the list, we can talk about assigning more action levels.
Awesome.
When's our next meeting?
You want to do 2 weeks? Or should we do 3 weeks? I'm going to be away next week.
The 25th?
3 weeks would be better for me.
When do we have our library meetings are getting kind of screwy too in terms of interfering with this.
Well,
3 weeks?
typically the design subcommittees are Wednesday, but
Right.
the whole library building committee is typically Tuesday evening, right? And we're Wednesday.
Yeah, till next week, and when it's on Tuesday. Yep. Okay.
So let's do the 25th.
Which is a Wednesday.
Yep.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
5:30?
5:30.
Yep.
And hopefully you won't have a double header or two at the same time. If you guys find you have a conflict, you'll let us know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think, I think it'd be unlikely that the library committee would meet Wednesday evening.
Mhm.
We typically, the whole library building committee typically is Tuesday. That usually doesn't start till 7 anyway. And the design subcommittee is usually midday on Wednesday, usually.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
I second.
Again,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Delmas, aye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
Becky.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.
Yes, bye.
Bye.